Welcome to the Guys Unpacked. This is Dre.
This is Rich. And once again, we got the homie,
Mr. Mo Fiyah Entertainment.
No, you gotta do it. You gotta
absolutely
do it.
not. Right. I'm about to say, I don't know which one. Mo Fiyah Entertainment.
Mr. Maurice.
Right. Maurice Fire. That's what they call me.
Like this is like a rerun or something. Is this? Y'all actually brought me back. I feel kind of special.
Yeah, but why you got a coat on though? I'm just curious.
Because I'm cold, nigga.
All right.
It's cold.
We in second spring.
Right.
Yeah, it's
no, we're in the pollinating now, son.
The pollen.
It's like cold pollen right now.
Son, we in the pollinating. That joint came through like 50s, 60s, 70s. We gonna touch 80, 30.
I like it. Can't make up his mind, man.
And I totally missed the 80s because I was out of the country.
You wasn't here for the. And it didn't even get like deep 80s, but it definitely hit.
Listen, this dude couldn't wait to drop that he was out the country. We could have been talking about anything. He would have been like, right. You know why? Because I was out the country. Right. You know, he could have waited.
Been like, yo, son, so did y'all catch Winter Soldier? Nah, son, because I was out the country. Nigga, they don't have TVs when you out.
You know?
All right,
we get it, bro. Okay, yes. Welcome back.
Where were you, son?
I was in Cancun.
Anything else you want to say about Cancun? Why?
It was beautiful. I was there for a wedding.
All right.
Very, very beautiful. It was honestly, all right, so hear me when I say this.
Okay, go ahead. We listen.
I've never called a wedding magical. Dog, this
Are
wedding
you about
was
to? Wait a minute before you do.
I feel like, listen, Rich about to be a homie and look out for you right quick. Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Son, you ain't got no other words, son?
Dog, like when I tell you, yo, I don't care. It was magical, son. It was magical. It was.
You're stupid, man.
No. Yo, in every way, yo. From the people that were there, like you can just tell, like everybody just vibe.
Yeah. So
I didn't know a bunch of people. I grew up with the groom. So I didn't know a bunch of people, but like literally by the second day, everyone felt like them.
Right.
So that was part of it, you know.
I saw the video or picture you post from the cave.
The video, yeah.
Son.
They turned the cave into honestly one of the most beautiful reception spaces I've ever DJed for. And I've DJed for a lot of those spaces.
You seen the video?
Nah,
Dog, the video, I'm looking at the Instagram and I'm seeing a video of this cave, but it's nicely dressed up. But like if you look at the background, you can tell, no, they really in a cave, dog.
Bro. And what's wild is they told me there was a cave from before. And I was like,
you're not really thinking.
No, I knew it was a cave, but I was like, I don't know how they're gonna pull this off.
Right.
So then I did sound check early during the day. Got to go in the cave. I was like, looks dope, but I still don't know. Bro, when it was completely dark and then you see like the string lights coming down, I was like, wow, bro, it was super dope. So totally magical. I honestly understand why people have been wilding out lately with the travel. Right? Like me, I only felt comfortable because I had at least gotten my first dose of the vaccine.
Right.
I have my second now, but like I felt comfortable because I was like, I'm at least somewhat protected. Right. And then the resort was super serious about making sure that everybody was masked up, like everywhere except for the pool.
Okay.
And when you're eating. So I was like, perfect. We had to get like tested. Like everybody in the wedding party was vaccinated, like for the most part. So like I felt comfortable.
Sweet. They're at least taking the protocol seriously, basically.
Right. And honestly, part of it too is because a lot of people were in like first line roles, right? So like we have dentists, doctors, a whole bunch of people. So I was like, all right, cool. But I got the itch, dog.
Like
not the bad itch, the good itch.
I was about to be like,
we went to Cancun.
You went to Cancun and you got an itch.
Everything was good. Came back, yo, with an itch.
I got it.
Like, come on, man. You gotta be more specific, man.
That's why I quickly said the good itch.
Because when you said it, I was like,
yeah, I was about to kind of scoot over.
Like, hang on, dog. I don't know. You gotta tell us before we get here.
Like, fellas, I got the itch, man.
Yeah.
But no, like I get why people will travel. While they were traveling, because when you leave the U.S., especially when you go to a resort, you realize America is the ghetto, bro. Like I was like the change of scenery alone.
Yeah.
Like that was rejuvenating, dog. Yeah. Like and one of the days, I literally sat on a hammock in my like there's a balcony for the room, and just read. And I was like, this is the most old people shit I've ever done. I was like, but shit feels so good.
You know what it is too, son? We've been here. Most of us who would travel at least periodically, we would at least, if nothing else, Go and train that for Carnival. If nothing else, right? Other than that, little trips here and there, stuck for a year. So now,
and my house ain't that dope. Like, I can say that. Like, I love my house, but it ain't that dope. Like,
it's dope for the first.
I don't think any of us have any hammocks in any of our houses, right?
At all.
I get it.
So, I think it's actually kind of poetic that you're here.
Oh, okay.
Because when we wrapped up the last time you were here, we were talking about OnlyFans mom.
Right. I remember that.
And this week.
Cash Me Outside girl.
Right, she was Catch Me. Now it's Cash Me Outside.
She changed it from Catch to Cash?
No. She didn't change it, but the way she pronounced it always sounded like Cash Me Outside.
Right, but she was saying Catch.
It was Catch Me.
But she can legitimately say Cash Me Outside now because within 6 hours on OnlyFans, she made over $1 million.
Son, on day one. And the crazy thing was, all right, so she turned 18.
Yes, go ahead.
Turned 18.
Does that mean we can legally talk about her right now?
Started her, basically. Started her OnlyFans.
Right.
Made $500,000 made $1 million, over $1 million, 6 hours.
Yeah.
Didn't really post anything that was like the crazy thing when you see like what some of the chicks who are not making millions are posting, like they busting it wide open.
They showing it 90.
Busting
all of it.
Son, this chick was like, hey y'all, I got an OnlyFans. Subscribe.
I'll even go as far as to say this. I've never checked OnlyFans subscriptions, but I've heard that when they spread it out and busting it wide open, those subscriptions are usually somewhere between $5 to $15. OnlyFans, $29, what is it, $28.99?
It's like 23 or something like that. So
$23.99, right? It was just under 25.
So the story was so crazy because I had lost track of this girl after like the Dr. Phil thing.
Right.
I didn't even know she was still
a thing,
doing anything. Right. I think I had saw maybe like a couple years ago something where she was trying to be a rapper, but I'm not.
She's still trying.
So the last time I saw her is last recollection I have of her when she was trying to drop her album, right?
Okay.
And that
actually pay attention to her.
No, that was because it was on TMZ at time at one point. So that's the last time I saw her.
I didn't even know she's trying to.
But you know what? That story made me realize we are absolutely doing something wrong.
Who?
We are.
Why?
$1 million in 6 hours, bruh.
I mean, I think that I wouldn't say we're doing anything wrong.
I feel like I'm doing something.
I think we grew up in a different era.
I don't know, because I would show my prick family that. Being completely.
All right, guys.
Listen, I would do it for like the $23.99 right now. You know what I'm saying? I would take the $23.99.
Oh, okay.
If you told me I could get on OnlyFans and make $1 million in 6 hours.
So, but here's the thing though, she didn't post any nudity.
Right, that's the crazy part of this story, son.
You know what he said that just now? I was like,
show you pinky.
no. When he said it just now, I was like, that's actually genius. Like, who wouldn't? You wouldn't?
Show a pinky for $1 million?
Yes.
I mean, of course I would.
Right. I want to say
but nobody wants to see my pinky for $1 million. That's my point.
Remember, OnlyFans mom, she wasn't nude either.
She wasn't nude.
You know what's, son? The crazy thing about this shit is like when you think about it, like the chicks that's busting it wide open are probably doing something wrong because.
So because that is like they're seeing the quick, easy money, thinking that they're making it until they see OnlyFans mom and Cash Me Outside making real money.
OnlyFans mom is the one that baffles me still, but Cash Me Outside, at least I get it because like
she had like something before.
She had. So when I found out about the story, I was like, all right, I got to see what's going on. So I went to her Instagram. Right. She had like 17 million Instagram followers. And this is when I realized I must be out the loop because, like I said, I completely lost track of her after the Dr. Phil thing, right? There was memes. There was some jokes. I think somebody did a remix song. That was it.
But then again, I mean, we should honestly be kind of oblivious to her because, she just turned 18, right?
Well, yes.
So if we were tracking her and,
which I think is actually the bigger point.
Yeah, that's the bigger.
The fact that she made $1 million in the first 6 hours.
Like what?
Who was subscribing?
Dog.
I'm sure there was some kids her age.
Wait, stop. They got $23.99 a month to pay. Son, kids her age, 17, 18 years old.
They got that kind of money.
They spent $20 and They hurt for a week, son.
Don't forget, those are the same people who go and buy a mocha chai latte in Starbucks too. So like,
Nah,
they know where to...
Not 18, 17, 18-year-olds, man.
Like,
those are some
college and son, think about it, son. College kid, first year, they're not buying expensive Starbucks, son. Those kids are still hurting.
I don't know.
They're still going to 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, I'll put it to you like this, right?
Don't you shit on Dunkin' Donuts?
I love Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' has been good to me, okay? Hey, listen, trust me.
The whole New England area, they rock with Dunkin' Donuts more than Starbucks.
Of course.
Son, they rock with
drive-through Dunkin' Donuts.
They rock with Dunkin' Donuts more than Krispy Kreme because I have a friend who was like, he has never, friend from Boston, has never had Krispy Kreme and refuses to because he's so supportive of Dunkin' Donuts.
Great. Which is wild because the donuts and Krispy Kreme, like, especially right out the oven.
And right now, you get one free if you're fully vaccinated.
I have my card. I will be going to get my Krispy Kreme.
I'm going tomorrow.
But so, here go
fresh off the press, bro.
Son, the thing with Catch Me Outside, like, the majority of these people are not. Let's say we'll give you that some of them were these kids.
Sure. It was still a bunch
of old horny niggas that
just want to see some 18-year-old snatch, you know?
Son, that's what it was. The minute she was like, hey, I'm 18, I got an OnlyFans. Where do I sign up? Dudes, because 6 hours, dog.
Yeah. Nah, that's crazy. What I want to see is after the first month, if she's able to maintain. Granted, she doesn't need to, but I just want to see though.
She can cancel the subscription tomorrow.
I'm with it. I just want to see
if it still keeps up like that.
Because if she still keeps up anything like this, then I'm gonna agree with you.
I just can't believe that, I kind of wish when we were growing up in our era, we had like social media and stuff.
I do not at all.
I don't.
The amount of stupid shit I did growing up that is not documented because there was no social media.
That is true.
Dog, I'm good. I'm real good.
Probably why we got our jobs now, right?
But I would say this, right? It raises a good point about how like the world has changed to a point where like the whole streaming thing has it where like, so we didn't even realize that this chick got famous. There was nobody getting famous when we were kids that we didn't know because when you're famous, everybody knows you. Like maybe the old heads might not know the names, but like if you were famous, people knew you.
But you were famous for a reason.
You were famous.
You were an
you had a talent.
Or you had some kind of talent.
You did something. You did something. You did something. Yeah. These people. She got famous for being ratchet on Dr. Phil.
Right.
Like ultra ratchet.
And fake ratchet at that.
And fake ratchet and getting made fun of, really.
Right.
Like she really got famous for being made fun of.
Because she was a caricature. Because when it really comes down to it, right? Like, let's be real. If she were a black child that did the exact same thing, it would not have blown up the way it did. Right?
Wouldn't have.
No. But speaking on streaming and influence, because I think that's a good topic. Y'all saw Lil Nas X's video and sneaker.
I didn't see the video.
Are you talking about where he's the industry plant trying to infiltrate the black community and turn us all gay?
I saw this sneaker, right?
Okay.
Is that the one?
I saw the sneaker, a picture of the sneaker on TV.
With the pentagram.
Yes, with the pentagram and the Bible verse.
The Bible scripture,
and the fake blood or whatever it was in there.
No, it's apparently real blood. It's a drop of real blood.
Is it true that Nike's suing them? I heard.
Oh, yes.
I saw a story, but I didn't click on it because.
So listen, kudos to Nike for suing the crap out of that developer. No, I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because when that video first dropped, right?
Yeah.
The amount of canceled Nike news stories that I was seeing online, right?
Right.
I mean, Nike. So you have to understand the reason why Nike didn't sign Steph Curry. Right. The reason why he went to Under Armour because Steph Curry went to a Bible verse in his shoe, and Nike was like, I don't want to take that stance either way, right?
Right.
So now. For you to then, for people to be under the impression that now you
took their shoe,
you're going all the way this way.
So here's something that just popped in my head.
Okay.
That same episode that he was on was the LGBTQ plus episode. Because remember we tried to ask him his stance on kid shows, like having like representation, and he would never answer. I think he's answering. He's answering.
Shoes.
No, but bro,
doesn't ring a bell.
No, honestly though, I agree with Mo on this.
Okay,
I agree with Nike taking simply from the point of view of you're misrepresenting my brand. Whether I agree with you or not, right? You've caught me up in whatever it is you got going on, and you didn't even come to me. It'd have been different if we talked and I was like, you know what, I'm with you on this, because then I got my people ready to answer questions.
So here's the only part. So I agree to a point, but I disagree also.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree if it was a partnership with Nike.
Right.
And this blew up and then they were like, nah, we're going to distance ourselves. Based off of my understanding of this entire project, right? The only reason that Nike's actually suing is not because of even a defamation. It's because they're trying to figure out a way like how this company customized 666 pairs of Air Maxes. Because it's really difficult to get that many.
Really the number?
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I was like,
yeah,
I didn't know it was.
But yeah, so like the idea is these sneakers are maybe counterfeit. So that's actually why that's why they're doing it. But from the standpoint of, let's say that they legally bought all the sneakers and then they did their design. They at that point in time, it's art. Like they literally just customized something they've already purchased and resold it. And that's where I'm like, if that's what they did.
But you can't do that though.
Right.
Yes,
I don't
you
know.
can.
I don't.
You totally can legally do that.
I don't know the legal aspect.
I'm telling you.
Right. I go.
So I can.
If I purchase a shirt that you're selling, and then I redesign it as my own, and it still bears
your
logo on it.
So here's the difference, because what it sounds like you're saying is you're taking my design and recreating. No. That's
what I'm saying.
So you're taking the exact shirt that you bought from me.
I'm saying I bought a shirt from you.
A QG shirt from me.
Right. I left your logo visible.
Right.
And I put a whatever design I am around
totally
or behind it or whatever.
Totally legal.
And
how is that legal?
Totally legal. Because at that point in time, one, I've already got my money. That's one. But two, you're not selling it as a QG shirt. You're selling it at that point as whatever collaboration that you have with, like, if you're an artist or whatever, that's what you're selling it as. Okay. Right? And I know it sounds super dicey, but that is the law. Like you can customize something that's already purchased and resell. And it works,
I did not know that. So
like because if you look at it, there are a bunch of like dope sneakers that Nike never came out with.
Right, but they're
not in mass production at the same time.
And that's where the issue is. The mass production.
Right. So I thought it was one of two things, where it's like there's so few of them that it's not worth suing.
Right.
Or we collaborated or gave our permission to use this, so we're not suing because there wasn't an agreement.
Right.
So I don't know. I did not know that you could
and let's be real. So I didn't know about this because I actually didn't care. Yeah. But I found out more when I started looking into it. There was a opposite of that shoe. There was like a Heaven shoe that came out well before. It was an all white shoe. Also had a Bible verse on it. And of course, no backlash, because we live in a society where God is good, right? The only reason that Nike even cares about this one is because it's a devil piece. Which I agree. Like, I mean, it has to make you cringe.
The pentagram was a little much.
You know,
pentagram and the blood and the
so
wait, has anyone of y'all actually seen the video?
No.
I saw bits and pieces of it. I'm not interested in watching it, to be honest with you.
Why not?
I just didn't watch it.
So one, I'm not even crazy about the song. So there's that. I also don't really watch a lot of. Okay. I also don't watch a lot of music videos to begin with. I don't have the time for it. Right. But I watched the snippets of it because of everything going on. Like,
okay.
Yeah, but I will say some of the symbolism in the video made sense in connection with the shoe and the verse. Because I'm sure you did see at least the part where he.
No, I saw no.
You saw no part of it.
No, nothing moving from the video. I saw still images that people posted.
So there's a part of the video where he, like, there's a stripper pole that goes from heaven to hell, and he like twirls down, like in like stripper gear. Down into hell.
Okay.
And then the Bible verse itself talks about the devil going down to hell like striking lightning or something like that. So the symbolism, there's a connection.
But so is he the devil? Because I heard he was giving the devil a lap dance.
Yeah, it was more than a lap dance, but yeah, I think he licked the devil too. Like it was a lot.
You know,
it was a lot.
Let me. So
I didn't know.
So let me tell you, I don't.
Me off guard.
Yeah. I'm like so deliberate with like because of how streaming and everything works, I'm deliberate with what I will click on
and contribute to.
Just because I'm like I don't mess with Kanye at all.
Right.
I will not watch a Kanye video to this point. I won't stream Kanye on
a platform like YouTube.
Right. Like so the 3 albums of his that I own, I own them outright. So when I play them, they're on my phone. Like,
is it the first 3 albums?
The only good ones he's made.
Yeah.
So So
I kind of like 808 on Heartbreak too. I had that
trash.
Too.
So
I had that too. That's my last Kanye album.
I hear you, still trash. So
Harsh criticism.
Kanye has 3 classics,
Of course,
and then he has a few classic songs sprinkled around
I agree with that.
albums. He does not have another classic album. He has classic songs sprinkled along the rest of his music, but he has 3 classic albums that, for as much as I don't mess with Kanye, I will never act like those are not absolute
iconic albums.
Throw those on and I don't press fast forward once. I just let them play.
Like one of my favorites.
Absolute.
I mean, that was like real Kanye.
Right. So with stuff like this, like when Snitch 9 got out of jail, I was like, no, but like, so remember when he went live or whatever and got like all the millions. I refused to watch it, but when he dropped his the video where he was like yelling or whatever.
It wasn't with Nicki. It was after. So Nicki was before prison. Oh. When you talking about after.
Right, he dropped one when he got out of jail, right?
Right.
Wouldn't watch because I'm like, I'm not giving him the stream. I'm not clicking I'm not clicking the link on this. Like,
petty dog.
No, you know I don't even
super
know
petty.
Unapologetically. I don't even know one Tekashi song.
I didn't know he rapped.
I
did not know he was a rapper until after he got out of jail.
Unpopular opinion at this table, at least, but I know not like for real. Oh, he got.
I mean, you're supposed to know because you're a DJ. Like you play.
No, don't get twisted. I'm not really a big fan of this new generation.
Yeah, but you're still entitled. You still have to know because it's almost like a project, right? But when you get booked, if someone comes and says, "Hey, do you have this
vibes?"
You should be able to provide.
So when I say vibes, I'm talking about like between, of course.
Does he have any lyrics?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, and so the weird thing about him is he kind of screams while he's rapping. But it kind of works. It's almost like, remember how Hoppy will fucking scream like in every party? And some people are like, Jesus Christ, why is he screaming? Other people just hype. Yeah. He found a way to balance it out and actually like make it somewhat melodic. He got bars, bro. It ain't no thought provoking. Oh my gosh, like I need to go in.
Right, but it's no Tupac lyrics.
No.
Right.
But he got some bars, especially for a young.
From what I heard about him was that his beats are like sick. Whoever his producers are, they got like.
Then that's not a credit to him.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like
unless he's making the beats.
But partly though, I mean, so as an artist, you choose the beats that you want. Like,
but what I'm saying is.
I get he didn't create the beats, but but still.
So he has a dope producer. I'm just gonna.
But again, some of his lyrics are dope. But anyway,
I know this is totally unrelated, but I was looking at the Mystical interview last night on Bhad TV, and the Move Bitch beat, right? The dun dun, right?
Yeah.
He said that they sent it to him first, right? With some
the Ludacris song,
the beats.
No, the beats. So he's saying Move Bitch, but like he's the I know what you're talking about.
Right. So the beat, the rhythm, or they sent it to Mystical first, and he missed it. So because he didn't choose it for his album, they gave it to Ludacris.
Son, let me tell you something. I hear stories like that all the time.
Right?
Where actors might turn down a role that they're just like.
I'm not gonna call any names.
Yeah.
But there are some soca artists that missed some pretty large beats from this year Carnival. Well, lack of Carnival rather. Right. But after the beat got big, then they were like, I missed my chance.
Happens all the time. So I don't doubt that for a second. Because sometimes you just don't have the vision, right?
Sure.
And some people don't have the air for it anyway. Right. So it's like, you'll send it to me, now I don't like it. And sometimes I'm like that when like a song will drop.
Sure.
And I'll first hear it like, I don't know about this, I don't like it. And somebody else like, one of my DJs, like you or maybe like Nuno or somebody might be like, no, Rich, as soon as I
listen to it.
And I'd be like, all right, I'll catch it later, right?
Right.
And then I have to hear it in a mix or hear it at a party. I'm like,
yeah, this is hot.
I get it now.
And you also have to hear it on a certain type of system. Because if you're listening to it on your laptop,
right,
versus listening it, so for me, like,
system.
Yeah, for me, because I got subs in my truck. Like, I will not drive without bass. I'm not gonna judge a song for real until I hear it in the truck because I can hear the lowest of lows.
Yeah, and
I'm like, I couldn't hear this on the laptop.
Right, but when you listen to the just the rhythm of just that song, right, Move Bitch, like right, it's like it really kicks, right? Like I remember that was like one of my favorite songs, like in my
when you
serious American club vibe era, you know.
But honestly, when you think of Mystical's flow, that kind of.
But he's on the song.
But it doesn't actually match.
No, but he's on the song. He's on the song. Here I come.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Think about it like this. That is following up off of Ludacris.
Right.
He did, right?
Yeah.
He probably heard it and didn't really catch the vibe to it. He thought this was something that I'm not going to do 48 bars on this.
Right.
I can't.
Okay.
So I could totally get that.
Yeah. Okay.
But when you think about like the Lil Nas X thing, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right? I think this is my theory on it.
Sure.
So he dropped Old Town Road.
Mm-hmm. Huge classic hit.
Which was when Jay-Z was talking about Rihanna and he was talking about what she did upon the replay. He mentioned how he kind of at first felt like this song might be too big
for Rihanna.
For her.
Right.
That was the problem with Lil Nas X.
Yep.
As a first song out the gate, that song took off way too far. So your foray into music didn't even get to build gradually. You started with a mega hit that completely it's
bigger than him.
Right. So you said, we were talking earlier, and you said he's done I haven't heard a single thing from him since Old Town Road, right?
Right.
So in my mind, one hit wonder. Right. That's it. He's done.
So that's why you're supposed to have the right people around you. You're supposed to have the right publicists, the right managers. Because honestly, if he had the right people around him, because he was mainstream with Old Town Road, right? He crossed over all types of platforms, right?
Right.
Someone, if they were a good manager or a publicist, would have come to him and say, dude, if you do this song with what you're doing, all this other stuff, you're going to alienate at least a quarter.
Wait, what are you talking about? Old Town Road or this next song?
The new one where he's giving the
No. So let me tell you why I disagree. So I think, let me get back to what I was saying with Old Town Road. It was a monster that he probably didn't expect.
Right, of course.
So now he needs a follow-up. So whatever follow-ups he did, you said you heard, I didn't hear any. Right. Never got the traction of Old Town Road. Right now, son, in 2021, even before 2021, because he came out as gay after Old Town Road. So people didn't even know he was gay. So he came out and was like... I heard he was gay. Right, that's what I'm saying. He came out after the song. Old Town Road, so you probably heard it when he came out, right? So I kind of agree with what he did. Not that I like the song or anything. Listen, right now, clicks sell. It doesn't matter whether you click in because you want to hate on it or because you like it.
Right.
It doesn't matter because right now we're talking about it.
Right.
People have been talking about it before us. People are going to be talking about it after us. Sure. And so even if you think you're quote unquote alienating a group of people, you're not really. Because you know what?
But my thing is, okay, I'll click now, yes. Mm-hmm. But because you've alienated me, right? I'll never click on any of your stuff again.
Maybe.
So now you might have a second hit.
Right.
But that group that you had that crossed across different genres and platforms, so you probably might not have that same support.
Right, maybe, but think about it like this, right? So I always use Floyd as an example, right?
Mayweather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Floyd Mayweather. People at first watched him because he was great, but he was very unapologetically Floyd. He was not an activist for anything. He was a little selfish, a little self-centered. He was very big on it's my money. Right, it's my money. I'm going to do what I want with it. Didn't care about the people who didn't like him. The people who didn't like him were still tuning in, of course, to watch him get beat. And you know what? He knew that
open to get beat.
Right. He knew that I could still continue to sell out, and he became a billionaire by not giving a F what you think or what you think. So with like a Lil Nas X,
I think music is different.
But it's not really. You know why? Because think about like the 6ix9ine thing. People tuned in simply because they wanted to hear if the song was trash or not. It don't matter what the reason you listen to it for. Because now it's not like back in the stream. And it's not like back in the day where I had to sell albums. I don't have to sell anything.
Right.
As long as you're watching and you're streaming and you're clicking, I'm still making money.
Yeah. So I will say this though, and I don't want to go too much further on Lil Nas X because it's really a non-issue at this point in time. But if you look at Old Town Road, it was a mega hit, but it wasn't actually a mega hit because he was a great artist. If you really stop and listen to the song, like it became a mega hit because it ended up crossing over into country.
Yes, absolutely.
And then because it crossed over into country, then it became mainstream. And as a result, whatever. And to your point, the reason why you don't know any of the songs afterwards is because he's not a great hip hop artist.
No, he's not.
Right? I mean, there was mediocre at best.
There was no dope lyrics on that song.
Right. So I think that all that together, I understand why pulling pulling. I don't want to say that he's doing this for strings, but I feel like
he is. He absolutely is.
I don't. And like it's really one of those things where it's like you realize where your value is, and if that value is in shocking people to watch the streams, it's very similar to if you remember back in like the early '90s, late '80s, Madonna. She used a very similar thing, right? Like
it's South
Park.
Park.
She also used
she did a satanic.
Yeah, she did a satanic thing.
Dog. It's South Park. South Park has made their money by being as how many people can we offend and how offensive can we get?
Right. Followed by like Family Guy.
And 24, 25 seasons later, they're still like, what's happening now? The pandemic? Boom. We gonna make fun. So they found their niche. They know, and because TV, like streaming, is free, because again, you may think, well, I'm not supporting him, I'm not buying his music. Right. But then something comes out and somebody sends you the link.
Watch the video, you're still technically
all you gotta do, though, you drop a link in a group chat. Everybody that clicks that link gets another stream. Now this video has now had 1 million views.
Yep.
From 500,000 people who hate you.
Right.
But they still watched it.
So as we talk about the LGBTQ plus community, Biden this week had the first, I'm gonna probably butcher this, but it was the day of the Trans Day of Visibility.
Probably gonna what?
I said butcher it. Like I can't remember that exactly how, but I think it's the Trans Day of Visibility. You're stupid.
I could have swear. Did you hear it?
I did not.
You were the only one that heard it.
You're closer than I am, so I heard butcher.
And you want to know why?
No, go ahead.
You want to know why?
No, what about Biden? I could have swore. And that's what I was like.
The lens that you're looking at, anything LGBTQ plus.
I love
So you cool with them on TV shows and kids?
Yep.
So we got an answer. We got an answer, finally.
We got an answer. We don't know if it was the
right answer.
We don't know if it was the real answer. We got an answer.
So I will say this, right? Like, one, I think that it's actually kind of sad that it's taken 2021 for there to even be a day of visibility, right? Like, for them to feel like they are visible, right? But on the flip side, Biden's strategy right now is killing it for the liberals.
Yes.
Because the bar was so low with Trump that, think about this, he's literally only acknowledging your existence. And he's going to, as a result, get supporters. And granted, hopefully he does actually more than just a day of visibility. But like the idea that he's doing that, in my opinion, it's gonna leave him, at least from an optics standpoint, which I think is really all that technically matters to most people. Most people, as one of the greatest presidents of the 21st century.
If you look at his approval rating right now, right? Approval rating, even across bipartisan lines, is pretty high.
So
right,
and he ain't really done. And granted, like, and we talk about it. It's not a case that I expect him to do a whole bunch of it, but like he hasn't really done much yet.
Than the last person,
which took nothing.
Right. So here's I gave this a little bit of thought. Right.
Okay.
I think two things about this. One, Biden is benefiting from coming after
Trump,
right?
For sure.
Like
he's like he can't say the name at all.
I was literally about to say the former guy. So he has the benefit of this is the act he's following. So if you're a comedian and the comedian before you was trash, dog,
right away
you come in with complete knock jokes and you're suddenly you're Dave Chappelle because the guy you're following was trash.
Right.
So
it's almost like DJing in DC.
So
okay.
That's my stuff.
That was good though. Yeah, I gotta give that to you. That was really good. That was really good.
Where's the lie?
No lie. That's why you took me by surprise.
I wasn't ready for it.
I was like,
that was a good one.
Anyway, continue your point.
Good one, Trey. Good one.
So now when you think about it, let's say Biden had gone right behind Obama, right? Didn't
sure.
I don't know that he would have
not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
Like, he would have probably been a very run of the mill
trash.
I don't even know if it would have been trash. I think it would have been right. I think it would have been a very regular presidency. Now I will say, I think because of his time with Obama, he would have probably been still a little more, because I think even during his presidency, he was a little more in the outreach to some of the underserved communities. But I don't think it would have been to this extreme.
Not at all.
Right, because the way that Trump kind of like
he lowered the bar so much.
So
like,
now,
like Obama's bar was high.
So now so I kind of equate it to like the Snyder Cut, where like the first movie was so much trash that the second one, even though it was still trash, so many people are like, oh, it was great because they say it was better than the first. I was like, yeah, but the first one was garbage. So, and I'm not saying that Biden is garbage. I'm saying that Biden didn't even have to do much. To be considered, like the Snyder Cut didn't have to do much to be considered better than the first one.
I love how he found a way.
He
found a way to like bring it in.
Had to say something about it.
It's not a cut.
I think that was for you, bro. That was for you.
Name dropping.
I just had to.
So even with that, like, I still think he's doing a good job. I think.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm curious to see how we get this infrastructure deal done because I am looking at his tax plan and what he's saying, how he's going to pay for the infrastructure deal. Don't know if that'll get passed.
So you already know me.
I know. but son, even with the infrastructure deal, he's like, if you're making below a certain amount,
2-point-something trillion.
Another $2 trillion.
And there's rumors of another fucking stimulus. Like, so all I'm hearing about.
I don't think we can do another stimulus.
I don't think we're going to do another.
There's no way we can survive another stimulus.
We can't survive the one we're in.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, listen, that stimulus right now.
You're so anti.
I'm at a point now. I'm like, can you please increase taxes? Like, I don't even want you to, but increase taxes. We gotta find something.
So I know for the infrastructure deal, there's a talk about raising the taxes on like.
There has to be.
Right, and in reality, that's one of the things. Clinton, a few years back at a DNC. He broke it down so, and I loved Bill, right?
He was a boss.
He broke it down so simply. He's like, dog, y'all understand. A lot of this is simple arithmetic.
That's it.
You cannot raise your spending and lower taxes at the same time.
It's not possible.
It's not possible. So I don't care what the Republicans tell you.
Right.
He was like, and he even name dropped it. I was like, who is the only president to have actually balanced the budget in the last however many years? Me.
Right, that's it.
Let me tell you, you cannot increase spending and lower taxes at the same time. It is not possible.
It's just not mathematics.
It's simple math. So I understand you as a taxpayer don't want your taxes to go up, and we get it. You're middle class.
Nobody likes paying more taxes.
But at some point, something has to pay for all of this stuff that's happening.
Yeah, and I'll even take it a little step further. I think that it's also this idea that we think in the immediate, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I don't want to raise my taxes now. Because like I'm looking at my bank account now,
right this minute.
But all right, let's continue lowering taxes and increasing spending. What that does is it devalues the dollar, right? Mm-hmm. But what that also does is, especially from the Republican standpoint, all these people who want to be like, we don't want to support social programs,
right.
The niggas will come to your neighborhood,
yes.
Right?
At a certain point, we can't do anything else in our neighborhoods.
But remember, from the Republican standpoint, they're lowering taxes, so they'll lower our taxes this much. They lowered the tax on corporations this much.
Right.
And
so I don't want to hear from the Republicans because that tax cut that that 45 gave to all those corporations did nothing for the average person. Nothing.
It was I saw a meme this week. I can't remember the exact number, but it was like if you bought a pair of Nikes last year for $150, you paid more for those sneakers than Nike paid in federal taxes.
I believe it.
Well, totally. Right. Like it's the way now. Like for corporations,
and that's been the Republican mantra. Of they will continue. So, which is one of the reasons why a lot of the big billionaires and big companies will always back Republicans.
Of course.
And they use the divide and conquer method of convincing the middle class that the poor are the ones that are actually keeping the prices where they are. So if I can convince you guys, if it's me doing it, and I can convince you that he is the problem. You're not even looking at me.
Right.
So I'm going to continue to get rich. Right. You're mad at them because they're on welfare. They're getting this much on welfare. Right. Just barely enough to stay alive. So one time you see them splurge on some crab legs and you're like, oh, my tax dollars are going to crab legs. Meanwhile,
listen, I know,
your tax dollars are really going to my yacht.
Listen, that last stimulus that passed, I know Cameron's made a big...
Son, there was not a crab.
There was, listen... The Chesapeake right now is crab
because that joint hit.
Okay?
That joint hit at a payday in the middle of tax season, son. I don't. But to end the Biden talk, I think the only thing right now we're dealing with is I think the border is an issue that we're gonna have to see how it's dealt with because
and DACA
and it's mainly because they view him.
They're one and the same, pretty much, though.
Right, and because they view him as more sympathetic than the guy before him, which is why they're like, no, we're coming now because he was literally.
He was fun.
I just didn't want to,
You didn't want belch on camera?
Yeah, belch on camera, trying to do a diplomatic.
I'm with it too.
I was like, is he smelling his underwear?
What's going on? Okay. We're still good.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But so, I think but every president is going to have snafus.
Sure.
The Republicans' biggest thing right now, which a coworker of mine brought up, and I had to look at him like, is that all you got? He was like, oh, I mean, if you had a dog and it bit 2 people, they'd put it down. I'm like, yeah, but if I'm the president and it's my dog, it could bite 10 people. You're not putting it down. I wish you, as the president, I wish you would tell me to put my dog down.
Right.
So right now, if that's all you got on me is major snap tattoo, a rescue dog.
What is it? Six months in since
a rescue dog.
Yeah, 6 months in since Biden's been president. There's really nothing that you can really hold.
Major,
right?
Major snap tattoo.
That's it. And what you did?
He tripped
culture.
And he tripped a couple times.
He tripped going up some stairs.
A 78-year-old man tripped a couple times. And then got up and brushed it off and was good.
And then tripped again first. And then
right, but that's what I mean. That was tripped a couple times.
We had to say, okay.
Yeah, he tripped a couple times. But then was fine. Like, all they have is, it took a while for him to do a press conference. Sure. And in reality,
he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. And if I know off the cuff, not everyone is good off the cuff, right?
Right.
So if I'm not as good off the cuff,
I'm not doing
a bunch of press conferences.
I wouldn't either.
Look at my fucking record. Look at the things I'm doing. I'm not going to sit here because, yes, you might get me off the cuff, but listen, when I sit down around the table with my people,
right, and we get shit done,
and we could formulate a plan.
That's why I have a press secretary. Right? Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to Jen Psaki.
Yep.
The only good press secretary we've had in the last 5 years.
Yes.
Spicer was trash. What's her name? Sarah, trash. Katie McKenna, trash.
Katie McEnany.
McEnany, trash.
Sarah Huckabee is like our age.
Mm-hmm. Looking horrible.
She looks like she's our mom.
She's running for. I think she's running for governor.
She's running for governor, and Katie McEnany got a job on Fox.
That makes sense.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So
as we talk about running for governor, what state is she running for governor? Do you know?
Alabama
or it might have been Clinton's old state.
No, Arkansas.
Arkansas might have been Arkansas. Alabama.
Either way,
yeah.
Southern state, Georgia,
as usual.
Georgia,
Georgia's getting up there with Texas. Not that I hate it, but it's like
I'm not a fan of it.
Texas, Florida, and now Georgia's cutting close. So Georgia has their new voter suppression laws, is what I'm gonna call it.
That's exactly what it is.
And it is Arkansas.
I figured. I thought it was Clinton's old state, but
quick fact check. Thanks, fact checker.
Right. The problem with it is so when Republicans lose elections,
yes, they try to change the rules. That's all it is. That's it.
And the sad part is, it's like they're like, we need less people to vote for us to win. That's it. That's it. When your party needs less people to vote for you to win, rather than say, you know what, maybe we should change our policies to appeal to a larger group of people, they're like, nope, we need less people voting because we'll never win again. It's sad. Shout out to the MLB.
Yes.
For saying
facts. We're not going to do our All-Star game in Georgia.
And you hear the other guy is now calling for people to boycott the MLB.
Fuck the other guy.
And in fact, I'm gonna watch more games now.
No,
I'm gonna put on one game on one TV, another game, and I'm gonna stream a third.
I'm gonna tell you, Trump he's a lot of things, but he's not bigger than baseball.
No.
Right? Like it doesn't matter if you're not like you could probably.
He's not bigger than any sport though. He's not even bigger than golf.
He could probably even derail the NFL.
Right.
He could probably influence more people with the NFL though. MLB, he can't touch.
I don't think he could derail more people with the NFL.
NFL is king, bro.
No, I'm not saying that he can. I'm saying, but compared to MLB, he can't touch MLB.
I don't know, dog.
I think he has more influence, and part of the reason is because NFL shorter season. MLB is so many games that people like.
Games.
Like it's hard to tell people you can't watch.
Games. Oh yeah,
MLB. I don't care what you say.
Shout out to the MLB because I didn't even think that they just did it.
I was shocked.
No one petitioned.
No one called for it.
No one called for it.
Because even like Delta, Delta at first, someone from Delta came out in support of because Delta's hub is in Georgia.
It's in Georgia, so of course they want to play the side that's right. Support them.
Someone from Delta came out in support of it, and then they immediate backlash
because they realized.
And so their CEO came out and was like, no, we don't support this at all, right? So I don't know who it was that made the first statement.
One CEO,
right? Once he was like, no, we are in no way, and then
because he sees that their dollar value right now in the market is already hurting because of the pandemic. You really gonna chance losing your entire company?
And you know what the thing is?
This shit?
I think Laura Ingraham, who I hate as well, she did a piece where she was saying, conservatives, we need to show some of these companies that are involved in politics that conservatives spend money too. And I was like, right, Laura.
Y'all don't spend enough, but go ahead.
Not only that.
That's what it is.
That.
Right.
And I'll take it a step further. You're on the wrong side of history with most of these things. So it isn't even about
everything.
I wouldn't say everything, but I would say most of these.
Okay.
You're on the wrong side of history because the problem is if you're making it more difficult for people to vote, who does that benefit? Especially when under your president and his national security agency and everyone that was in charge of the election said, yeah, there was no widespread voter fraud. Right. So now what are you trying to stop if it didn't happen?
Voting.
Right.
That's it.
Because you can't say, there was hundreds and thousands of cases of voter fraud. So if you gave me that, I'd be like, yeah, changes need to happen.
If a Republican appointed person in charge, like Raffensperger, from Georgia, came out and said there was no evidence. This guy was a
big-time Trump supporter.
Huge Trump supporter. This is no Democratic person, right? And he came out and said, listen, there was nothing.
So,
right?
Yep.
Now your party wants to make it so the asinine laws and rules that they're making now that I can't even come and give you a bottle of water for standing in line while you're waiting to vote.
But historically, that's been their MO though, right?
Yep.
Like if you stop the people from voting, you make it super hard, whether it's identification, whether it's gerrymandering, all these other things, it makes sense. But guess what? We got Stacey Abrams in Georgia. So it, honestly, I will not say that I'm okay with them doing this, but it doesn't matter what they do. As long as Stacey Abrams is in the state, she is going to continue mobilizing.
Here's the only problem. I agree with you on that, right? The problem is so Georgia did it. Now Texas is getting ready to do it, right? There's other southern states that are all going to make their
moves. Try to do the same thing.
So I think, and there's only one Stacey Abrams. Right. So I think what we need to do
is find a Stacey Abrams in every state.
I don't think it's about finding a Stacey Abrams. I think it is about none of the laws are stopping anyone from voting. Right.
But that's my point, though.
Right.
Like that's my bigger point. Right. Because the reason why Stacey Abrams, in my opinion, was so successful is because she had a regular drumbeat. She didn't stick to only when it was election time. Right. And if more of us and more liberals in all these southern states in particular understood that we've got to make sure the drumbeat is constant all day, every day.
Right.
Make sure you're registered. If you got to get ID, we're gonna get.
And that what you're saying is my point. I think what we need to do is make sure that we could not stop because right now they're boycotting companies and they're suing this and whatever. And I'm like, these lawsuits are not going to change anything before the next election.
Right.
They're not. Right. So it's nice that people are trying to fight the changes.
Right.
But none of the changes stop you from voting. They make it more difficult. They make it more of an inconvenience. Like some of them extended, one of them, I know they added some days for the early voting, but they reduced the time that you could request an absentee ballot. So it was all little things that.
And I think they also they're going to stop the early voting times at 5:00. Which people working, right. They can't really leave work and go to vote.
So they're doing all the things to make it less convenient for you to vote.
Sure.
You can't change that right this second. But guess what? Brian Kemp is up for re-election next year.
Yeah.
So that means you have people in the House up for re-election. That entire Georgia Senate up for re-election. So learn what the rules are. Oh, I need an ID. I'll get 2.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
Yeah, because I liken it to, let's be real, right? So in college, I had locks, right?
Did you?
I did, right before college, and I
can't see it, but okay.
Really can't see it.
I had a conversation with one of my professors, and like before he worked at Howard, he was like an executive at IBM, and he was always hitting us with this anecdote about some student who had a tough time getting a job, and he talked to him about something, and then as soon as he changed that thing, it changed whatever. I went to him, I was like, all right, so Mr. Smith, what do you think about my hair? He was like, I like it here. He was like, but it's gonna be tough for you to get a job, right? And of course, part of me was like, that's some bullshit, but I also looked at it from the standpoint of, my hair doesn't really define me. My hair is something that I grew in high school, like the end of high school into college is cool. But ultimately, like if what I want is a job, I'm not about to let my hair be the deterrent. And I'm not saying to tell people to cut their hair.
Right. Yeah.
But
I felt he was kind of like,
Mo, right.
yeah, I was
no,
like,
not at all.
Mo was like, you tell me to cut my hair.
Not at all, because as we both know, we work for the same company at one point, right?
Yeah.
And you have locks, and you've clearly made it up the chain. So like, it's not a doubt, right? But like, here's my thing though.
But you made a decision.
I made a decision because, kind of to the same point, there's a way to play the game.
Absolutely.
You can either learn the rules and play them as they are, right? And then you decide for yourself, am I willing to pay this cost for this?
Yeah.
Or am I like going to fight it? And I think that we need a little bit of both. We do need people who are going to be like, I'm not doing shit. I'm going to do my way. But then you also need the people like me in this particular situation to be like, I'm willing to cut my hair because it doesn't actually matter enough to me.
Right.
And I'm willing to now fight for those who don't need to cut their hair.
That's the other thing that bothers me, right? The black race is the only race that their hair is deemed as not professional, has issues.
Yes, and
whether
no,
it's
I agree with you to an
natural.
extent, but yes, and
yeah, you know, it's like
Prime Minister of England.
not Boris Johnson. Yes, but I think
Go ahead.
I think we are definitely over scrutinized.
Yes,
Way
without
over
doubt.
But I will also say, in fairness to white people, they think the mullet is fucking unprofessional too. But
nobody rocks a mullet.
That is there.
Let me stop.
That is there. Right.
The mullet is coming back. I'm telling you.
Is it?
Dog. The guys in
It
my
needs
job.
It needs to not.
Well,
If it is,
but
it needs to not. If it's coming back.
Okay,
It's coming back.
So here's the thing. Are we talking about the guys in corporate, or are we talking about the guys at the shop?
The guys in the shop.
So that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like
But listen, I was just surprised that it was.
But you see what I'm saying?
right.
I'm trying to be fair that yes, there is one or two. There are some things in other races that they also might.
For sure.
But we are definitely
collectively are the most scrutinized.
we are definitely over scrutinized because anything that is deemed too ethnic.
Well, we're the opposite of what they consider beauty.
Right.
Yeah,
So anything that we deem, anything that they deem for us is too ethnic, natural, locks, afro, whatever, braids.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not professional. You need to clean.
It's
cut
like,
this
what
up.
do you want me to do?
Right. No, I need you to look like Denzel Washington. Clean cut with like.
But like, which one? The one with the mustache?
Clean cut with
I'm gonna do the mustache next.
You know,
the trucker mustache.
Exactly.
Hulk Hogan.
So, but to agree with both of y'all,
Yeah.
we definitely need the people who are going to do the lawsuit, right? Because we need to put the pressure on them aggressively. But we also need, while we're doing that, telling people, hey,
go get your IDs.
Right.
If that's the issue, go get IDs.
Right. Because guess what? We may not get this lawsuit done before the election.
Right.
And if it's not, we don't want to not be able to vote because we were busy fighting.
Right.
So I can't sit here and say, hey, I want this. Okay, well, all you need to do is like, quick story about a friend of mine. She was telling me that like her uncle they told him he needed XYZ certifications in order to move up. And they gave him time to get it. And he felt like I had enough experience. I don't need to do that, right?
That's ego.
Right. And so he refused. He didn't do it. Lost his job.
That's it.
Not didn't get a job. They lost it because they made it and they gave him the warning. This may become a requirement.
That's on you at that point.
Right.
I don't even care.
And so for the voting people, but it's on them. If I told you 2 years before the election, here are the rules.
Right.
I'm not telling you can't vote.
Right.
It's going to be more of an inconvenience. here are the rules. You know what? It's on you as a voter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fight this because I want you to make it easier. Right. But I'm also going to know what I need to do. And I'm going to do it because if I can't fight it now, what they don't realize is if you vote Kemp out of office,
right.
Yes.
and you vote a Democrat, because the Democrats know more votes mean we win.
Right.
So they want to make it easier to vote.
So I'll take it a step further from a strategy standpoint. Right? This actually could really backfire on the conservatives.
Big time.
Oh yeah.
But here's how though.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that you make it a steady drumbeat, a momentum of make sure you're doing everything, you start to get people voting in local elections.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And at that point, the entire landscape changes.
Because now you change the state senate.
Because most people really don't vote locally.
That's
what I'm saying.
I'll be honest with you. I don't vote locally.
I vote locally though.
I vote every election I can. I try at least.
I vote, even if when elections are coming up, if I don't know the candidates, I try my best to, before I go vote, quick Google. Sometimes it's not enough to get the full picture because it'll only give me
something though.
Recent news stories or whatever, and I'm like, this sounds good. Now, in some cases, it's someone where they've been in power or they've been in office already, and they're either doing a trash job, and I'm like, nope, I need him. I don't even care who he's running against, or no, he's doing a good job. I want him to keep doing it because you know that with 8 years you can do more than you did with 4. But bottom line is, I agree with you. If we get that steady message,
boom,
you're gonna get some voting in local elections.
It's gonna be a very liberal country. I'm gonna tell you.
Which I'm not against, dog.
I mean, I'm good with it until we talking finances. But
listen, I just want a large group of people that understand that climate change is real.
Right. No, that's
if I can get that, I can live with any other thing. If I get a large group of people that understand, hey, bro, climate change is a real thing.
I'm with you. I will even be willing to pay the price of it not be us not being fiscally responsible if the bigger things can play a role. Because at the end of the day, I also don't believe that government has to handle everything.
No,
right? Like if it's working properly, we can let private industry actually handle some stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But anyway.
So the trial of Derek Chauvin, and I want to make sure we say it the right way because I have not heard a lot of people refer to it as the George Floyd trial.
But it ain't that.
It's not that. I think when people do that, it's only because
that's the name they know.
That's the name that you remember from it because not a lot of people didn't remember the name of the officer. So I don't think people are doing it in a malicious way to say that because he's not on trial, right? This was one of the few cases where it was very clear.
Because he was murdered.
Right. Clear as day.
Right.
But the Derek Chauvin trial is going on. We're a week into it. What are you guys' thoughts so far on anything that you've heard?
So this is the thing that and I sent it to the group that we were in that drives me crazy. Where one of the witnesses, the most vocal one, who was like arguing with the cop and the MMA guy, right?
Yeah.
And the defense attorney was trying to paint him as like this angry black guy. So it's like, well, you called him a bitch a couple times. You know, he's like, well, you know, but he was like, well, aren't you just like trying to paint him out to this angry black guy? And he's like, listen, I was so controlled, you know, because if I really lost it with the skills that I have and all that stuff, I could have really, I could have put myself in a bad situation. You know, so they're trying to paint, George Floyd out to be this, this guy who was out of control, and the guy came in, Derek Chauvin came in and basically saved the community from a guy that could have
from this rampaging lunatic.
From this rampaging lunatic that could have destroyed the community,
right?
Exactly.
Right.
And it just drove me, like the more things change, the more time change, the more some things just stay the same. And it just drives me crazy to see that part. This is the angry black man that the white man came and saved the day, saved everyone from. Drives me crazy.
So I'm gonna say two things. So one, I haven't been watching the trial.
Okay.
Not even remotely interested, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I did see clips of his testimony.
Yes.
I loved the way that he testified.
Loved it.
Primarily because as much as the defense attorney tried to paint him as this angry black guy, like he would ask questions, especially like, did you call him a bitch or whatever it was? And he was like, if you heard that on the video, then yes.
Then I said, yeah.
But like he kept it super calm and collective, so he didn't feed into it. Now back to like me not watching it.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. I know that watching that is going to trigger me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like there are enough situations out here that I don't need another reason to be angry.
Yes.
Right? Couple things with that. One, I actually for this one I have faith that it's gonna work out. So like I'm like
I have none.
Hold on. I have faith it's gonna work out.
Okay.
Right? The other part is I know that the legal process or the judicial process is so long that this is the first week. We've got at least at the very minimum weeks, but probably months to deal with this.
I don't know if it'll be months, but I agree with you.
Right? Like that's
6 weeks.
So maybe, right? But like either way, it ain't gonna be done this week.
No, absolutely.
Right? So I'd much rather wait until the end.
Yeah.
Or at least close to the end for me because this is the other thing, right? We as non-lawyers will look at this and we will have an emotional response to everything we see, right? But when it really comes down to it, these lawyers are doing their job. So they have to do all they have to cross-examine the witness, all these other things. And I've heard people complaining like, oh, well, you didn't do this, you did this. You're not a lawyer, shut the fuck up. Like, let them do their job.
Yeah.
If when they're doing their job, they fuck up, and then there's whether it's a mistrial or the shit ends up the way we don't want, then let's burn shit down. Cool. I don't want to be in town, but like at that point in time, like let's burn shit down.
Just take me to Cancun with you.
Right? But until then, let the process actually work. Yeah. Because right now it's doing its job. It's working.
So my take on it, to touch on what you were saying, right? I'm seeing a lot of people who are angry about this narrative of, okay, they're painting George Floyd as this and they're doing this and they're trying to portray this and blah, blah, blah. And to that, I say simply what you're saying, where I'm like, you guys have to understand. It's not a they thing. There are defense attorneys and their job is
literally their job.
To try to get their client off. The only way they can get their client off is to try to create doubt or to create a situation where you are sympathizing. Because they were talking about, oh, they're trying to make it seem like Derek Chauvin was whatever. Well, that's their job.
Literally their job.
That's their whole job, is to find a way to try to get Derek Chauvin off. That is what lawyers do. That's what defense attorneys do.
Right.
So if you're going to be mad at them for doing it, stop watching the trial.
Yeah.
Like, stop watching it, because
that's it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's only wrong until you need it, because if you do something or whatever and you're now this, you would want someone who is going to do everything in their power.
And don't get it twisted. I've been in a couple of situations
where I was
like, make this work.
Right. And I'm not even talking about you murdering someone. I'm talking about just any situation where you're in trial in court. You want to know that person is at least trying. Right. Even if you know it's BS.
Right.
So
do your job.
Right.
Like,
the bottom line is their whole job is to try to create doubt.
Right.
Because when you're a defense attorney, you're not trying to convince 12 people that he's innocent.
It is one.
You're just trying to convince one person that maybe.
Not right.
Right. That's it.
Right.
One person that maybe. And if you can get one maybe, that's it. Your client gets off. So for me, I don't have that emotional response that like you had or other people that I've seen are like, it's getting them angry.
Right.
Watching, yes, they are going to try to discredit each witness.
Of course.
They're supposed
That's
to.
Literally
they're going to try to discredit.
Right.
They're going to try to paint George Floyd as this stark raving lunatic. That is their job, the defense attorney's job. So, kind of to what you, not even kind of, exactly what you were saying is that I believe that this was one of those cases that was so cut and dry that I think the bulk of that jury probably walked in there with their mind made up.
Dog. When and again, I've only seen like clips of certain testimony.
Right.
When the 911 operator testified, and she had to ask, like, is the video frozen? Because his knee was on his neck for that long.
Right.
I was like, that is a lot of the jury is gonna be like,
bruh. That's what I'm saying.
Even the ones who came in like, I want to get him off.
Right.
It's so hard at that point in time to be like, no,
honestly,
he's innocent. Like, it's hard.
Like I said from the start, I was like, you know, oftentimes with these cases, people are like, oh, I need to see the whole video. I want to see what happened before. And I was like, honestly, I don't even need to see what happened, because what happened before is irrelevant. I was like, George Floyd could have been beating the brakes off of him for 30 minutes straight.
Right.
The bottom line was,
He was
once
handcuffed.
they had him in custody,
Right.
get your knee off his neck. So,
That's it.
it literally doesn't matter what he
Right.
could have been on drugs. He could have been on every drug. He could have been wearing y'all out.
But the wild part, to your point, yes, you're right. But what makes it so much worse is he was handcuffed and was not resisting.
No, but that's my point. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right,
Like,
yeah.
and that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, he could have been actively fighting them up until that point.
Up until they subdued him. Yeah.
The bottom line is the minute he's on the ground,
Like, it's
and in
done.
handcuffs,
and in handcuffs, that's it.
So you could
Game
tell
over.
me. So you could tell me whatever he did before. Oh, we was in a shootout. He was busting shot. Okay, cool.
Did he kill anybody?
He killed 4 off. Okay, he did. Great.
But the moment he got
You got him on the ground in handcuffs.
he's
Done. Right.
But you know what? Like,
And that's why I'm sorry, but that's why for me, I feel like a lot of the jury walked in with their preconceived. He's going to jail because you're not going to find anybody who didn't see that video or doesn't know about it, right? You're not going to find completely impartial jurors at this point.
You can't.
So even if people say, "Yeah, I saw what happened, but I can be impartial," you're lying.
Right.
You already walked in
Everybody
here.
knows what the verdict is before they walk.
So I think at this point, the person we're waiting on to fail us. Now, if he gets, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would be genuinely surprised if he gets off. Right? Like if either
I won't though. Like I just feel like there's that one juror, like you said, who's gonna be like, well,
yeah, no, I believe
And
the toxicology report didn't come back saying that.
And like I said,
you know,
if that happens, burn the motherfucker down.
And I think I think that juror exists. I even think that juror.
Don't burn my neighborhood down. Right. But and I also say this. And I hate to cut you off for a second, but like, if you think about all of the riots, right, that we've had, like maybe not in our particular lifetime, but close to our lifetime,
recently,
right? LA riots, even the DC riots in the '60s, right? If you look at all of those places where there were riots, look at who owns all those places now. It ain't us.
No.
You like right after it was us
because
it was like run down, but then soon after they all got gentrified. So
dog, it's like the stock market.
Burn down fucking DC. Let me go buy a couple of houses.
Right.
I'm gonna ride the wave.
DC would never be cheap again, bro.
No, but it's like the stock market.
You're right. But I'm gonna pick somewhere.
We missed our moment.
We never had the capital to be in that moment.
When quickly, when I first started working in and around the northeast area, Benning Road area,
sure,
you could have gotten a place for like 100,000, 150,000, right?
Not anymore.
Now, that joint is like $1 million. Easy.
You can find some that are a little bit lower, but not a lot though.
Not a lot lower.
Yeah.
Quick story: friend of mine from my old job bought a house on Mass Avenue before it was Mass Avenue. For $65,000, sold it for over $500,000.
They should not have sold it yet because
no, there was not recently. Like this was a few years.
That's
back.
what I'm saying. Like they should not have sold it because
but it wasn't his. It wasn't his only. But it was. But like when we talked about it, because he's like he had offers before.
He didn't see the vision.
Oh no! But here's the thing. He the entire time was renting it, right?
Right.
So he was like monthly he's making $2,000, $2,500 off of it, and then but he got to a point where he had other properties. And he was like, you know what? I can get rid of this one because just for whatever, and he did, and sold it for half. Paid $65,000 for it.
So as someone who grew up in the area, right? Massachusetts Avenue. I remember. So it'd been 5 or 6 years ago. I used to do a festival called Vino Fest. It's like a wine festival, like a new wine festival in DC. And one of the years, so the first year was Union Market. The next year, I think it was. It was like Noma, right? And I'm sitting there, I was like, what the fuck is Noma? What is Noma, right? Some gentrification bullshit. It's North Massachusetts Avenue. Yeah. All of that area right now, killing it.
It wasn't there. It wasn't in Noma. It was like the other side of Mass. When you go down like by not Rhode Island. Basically when you come down Mass, past like DuPont going up that way.
He's still making more money right now.
No, he
like,
was.
I was about to be like,
that's right. Real estate right there, man.
Yeah. But I'm with you. At the end of the day, he bought it for $65,000.
Yeah, right. And honestly, he said
he made it like
and honestly, he said it was like, dog, I never even put central air in that. Like when I got tenants, he's like, you get a window unit. He was like, that's it.
And that actually matched the neighborhood though.
Right. Like he did not. He did. He's like, I did no upgrades.
Yeah.
I did nothing.
So he made number profit.
He made up for years, and then finally sold it. So he easily made a couple, probably $1 million more on that.
Which also probably means that the other properties he has, like he's making so much money on them other properties that it was probably a hassle to even manage.
That was
the Massachusetts.
Dog. That's what the thing was. He was like, dog, if someone comes to me with half, I'm gonna get rid of it.
Gotcha.
He said that because before the property really exploded, he was like, people would come to him like, yo, I'll give you this, and this. He was like, if someone comes to me with 5 and above, it's gone.
Dog, like,
and that was,
you know what kind of money you gotta be sitting on to be able to see that this is going to be worth twice this amount in a few years and be like, I just want to get this off my books.
Right.
Dog,
So,
I wish I had that kind of capital. Like, for real.
That's some serious money right there.
All right.
So let's wrap up on.
So yeah,
my man KD and Mr. Rapaport.
Y'all been following the little
following
beef?
it. Been following it.
Michael Rapaport did his So for anybody who hasn't been following it, Michael Rapaport is, you like to call him a professional troll.
Mm-hmm.
He was an actor at one point in his career.
Technically.
Didn't even know that.
I can't say is because you gotta have been in something in the last.
I'm gonna tell you how bad it was. We were on the phone this week because he didn't realize he was in a lot of shit, and I was matter of fact, we didn't realize, right?
I remember him from Friends when he was Phoebe's boyfriend for like 3 episodes.
I hopped on to find his filmography and then his TV
IMDb and stuff.
Bro, I was like, I'm on the phone. I was like, yo, Rich. He's been in a lot of shit.
He's been
in a ton of movies and a shit ton of TV shows.
But like a lot of 1 or 2 episode appearances, a lot of
But then he had
a couple like Boston Public.
Boston Public was a big
He was
one.
like, I guess he was like a main person that
he was a main because he was like 44 issues. 44 episodes.
There was another one that he was on for a while.
Can't remember.
But I was like, he did like 2 seasons. So he's been a legitimate actor.
Sure.
He's been a couple in a few.
I remember him from Higher Learning. He was the little skinhead from Higher Learning.
And see, I remember him from Friends as Phoebe's boyfriend.
All I remember him for is his epic rants because of the New York.
He's like in the last 5 years.
Right,
that's it.
He's like, I didn't know who he was till he got on Instagram. Like,
I like him.
And that's real.
Because he's shitting on Trump.
Not even Trump. Because he shitted on LeBron.
True.
Listen.
Right.
His epic sport rants.
Right.
Against like the New York teams and certain,
as a Boston guy,
right? He's like real all about New York, and I'm a big Yankees fan,
Mm-hmm.
so right?
I mean, he's fancy.
So like hearing his rants,
You're a Nats fan?
I'm a Nats fan, because before
you
Washington,
both,
Washington actually got the Nats.
The Yankees, American League, National League.
Remember the Nats only been in DC like 10 years. So prior to that, I was a Yankees fan.
Right.
I refused to root for the Orioles.
I got you.
Right. But anyway, so that's how I started. I became aware of it.
Sure.
And what he did to KD, honestly, my thing is this.
So what he did to KD was they had a little KD. He was talking shit. KD DM'd him because they had each other's numbers or whatever.
Right.
And KD made some statements.
Well, KD actually did an interview, right? With Charles Barkley and them, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of answered the question, but not really answered.
Sure.
Right?
But
Michael Rapaport, he DM'd him and was like,
did he DM him or did he do the post?
I think it was like
it was
like a
DM
DM.
And then afterwards,
Right,
it was
right.
posted.
You should have answered the question.
I remember that part, yeah. So
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
It was like, what the fuck you talking about? I answered the question.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like, no, you didn't. You kind of, that's how it started.
And then Michael Rapaport posted
the conversation.
The screenshot of the conversation. Right.
He, so I'm going to say this. I think that there are 2 things here.
Mm-hmm.
So one, KD is way too sensitive,
super sensitive,
and trigger happy for a professional athlete. I think that it's possible to be offended by somebody coming at you. I get it, but it's like you got to have a certain level of control. You don't need to respond to everything, right?
KD had a burner account that he would use to go on his own.
Be talking about this because he just hates KD. Period.
I don't hate KD. That's the thing.
You do.
No, I don't. I really don't. I think that KD is way too sensitive because when you say something about him, dog, he's marshmallow soft, dog. He's Continental.
He's one of the greatest shooters all time.
One of the greatest scorers.
Right.
No, he's one of the greatest scorers. He's one of the greatest ball players of all time.
And I respect it.
Right. But he's Cottonelle soft, dog. I will never. I'm not gonna pretend that he's not because, dog, if you're a grown man and you got to create a burner account to suck your own dick on social media. Come on now,
bro. But then
no, wait, hang on, Mo. You laughed. Come on, son. You got. I'm not gonna let you just not. Son, you a grown man celebrity, and
he about to pull that LGBTQ.
Right.
No. He's right.
Right. Imagine I created a second account from a burner phone to come on social media. And be like, no, Katie's the greatest. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Like, come on, dog. You know he's so.
So okay. That part I can understand, but we're not talking about that.
But that's all. It's all related.
We're talking about.
It's all related.
My thing is this, right?
Uh-huh.
If me and Dre have a
right, so I didn't get to that part.
Yeah, no
a disagreement,
right? No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And even if we cuss each other out or whatever it is, we disagree.
Right.
I wouldn't expect Dre to now turn around and post it on Facebook.
No, because I would. Absolutely.
I know you would, but you know,
that's what I'm saying. We agree. I agree with you on that.
I agree with you.
Michael Rapaport was a bitch for
dog. And I can't even support him anymore.
So wait. Support him anymore? You didn't know he was an actor?
No, I didn't know he was an actor. Right. I supported him as a person who believes in sports. I knew his sports.
I support him as a person.
Right. As a person. He was like, nigga.
He was a human being.
I just thought he was just an average guy.
Right. So you know about I can't support him anymore.
Yeah, I was supporting him.
You never actually supported him to begin with.
Bro. Both of them are bitches. Like that's the thing. Both of them bitches.
No.
Right? Like KD should. I think
it's like this.
I honestly no. I think they're evenly bitches. For different reasons. KD should have left him alone. Like as soon as he saw Michael Rapaport get his DMs and like start to heckle him about the interview, if he wanted to respond, it should have been like, when you become a basketball player and you are the highest scorer, whatever it is.
That's the high road, man.
But no, so let's
bro, like, that is literally what publicists are for.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
if I'm a publicist, I'm like, yo, Katie, give me your phone. Let me handle it.
So let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Let's say you just finished juggling, right?
Okay.
I woke up to you and say, Dre, you play real shit tonight, Dre.
Yeah.
You understand? Fucking worst DJ ever. You
yeah.
could have put on YouTube and
sure.
play better music than you.
So
would you be like, Maurice, when you become a DJ?
I think Dre would.
You know, no, you wouldn't.
I'm gonna give a better response.
I'm
gonna give a better response.
Go ahead.
Right? So unless it was actually your party, I'm gonna be like, until you get paid to be in here,
right?
Your opinion doesn't matter to me.
Right. That's what I'm about to say. I feel like
because best believe. Mm-hmm. So you say that in a joking way, but I don't know if you guys remember there was a PCP. Right?
Oh no, that's what I'm like.
Big up Hooky Life.
Old girl.
And on the real, so I don't follow her, so I never saw this shit.
That was the right. When he said that, that's the first that came to my mind.
I remember like that year, I juggled, bro. I juggled.
I was there.
So then when I started hearing all these things, I was like, who is she talking about? Because again, I'm not friends with her on Facebook. Then I realized she was talking about me. I was
but not just you. She's talking about all of us that played that.
So I was just like, well, one, I don't know who she is, so she doesn't matter. I got paid, so she doesn't matter. Dog, like I don't care about your opinion at that point in time.
And honestly, though,
because if 99% of the rest of the people enjoyed it, your fucking opinion doesn't matter to me.
And honestly, so I would give to your point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going as PC as Dre about like, oh, until you get paid to play ball. I'm saying you don't gotta say I'm a spit in your face. Like right. The shit that KD said though,
it was too much.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could say, okay,
it was so extra.
Like I answered the question, fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That the shit that he said was
some bitch shit. I was like, bro,
what are you doing, dog? It was like imagine somebody.
I want to hear this.
No.
I can't wait to hear this shit.
I gotta hear this now. Imagine somebody what, bro?
Go ahead. The fact that he's dying before he even says it.
Okay, why did he get his composure? My thing, I kind of agree with Katie. Only to the point where it's like, no, because like you say some shit about
because you don't like LeBron though.
It has nothing to do with LeBron. We're talking about KD.
No, you want to know what it is? He fucking emotional. Because like no, like I'm
saying no.
I don't mean that in a bad way. It's like the same question you just asked me, right? Is like your expectation is that I'm going to answer you emotionally. Me, I'm like, dog, I just got paid for my shit set. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you know what?
I don't care.
You paid $30 to get in here to hear me play shit.
Right. And that's precisely why I said, like, unless if you're the promoter, then it's like, shit, I gotta do some damage control. Like, I'm mad, my bad. Like, we can do
right. Like, because
use some arbitrary. Right. I don't care.
Right. Because
Maurice.
Right. Because if it's your party, right. I'm worried you might not book me next
Right.
You a patron? It's like, you're the real.
We rely on patrons.
And wait. And you don't even hire me normally anyway?
Right. You paid me. You in fact paid.
You like that.
For me.
You know what? I can't even with you on, man. I feel like. So I want to hear what you was going to say.
So I was.
He's still fucking laughing.
I got it.
Say it, dog. Compose yourself.
All right.
Fucking dog.
Like imagine
what, bro?
No, we were talking about like emotional responses, right?
Right.
That's like imagine I post something and I comment publicly.
I know. All right. Wait. I know where you're gonna go with this. Okay, I'm gonna sit back down. I know where you're gonna go with this.
I did not know where he was going.
No, I know where you're gonna go with this. I'm gonna sit back down. I am okay.
I'm gonna say this though. I'm all for this shit right now. I'm all for this shit. No. Back up. No. No.
Ahead,
say the whole thing.
All right, y'all. So this has been a good.
Okay. All right. You know what? It was worth the laugh. Now that I know where you were going with it.
You know the funniest part? They don't know what the fuck they were talking about.
No clue, son.
It was an inside joke, and I promise you'll never know.
It was worth the laugh.
But here it is. You'll never know because we own grown man shit.
Right.
Right?
Like you know what? Like honestly though, the reason they'll never know is because I'm not about to sit across from nobody and talk about nobody as a part-time promoter when I myself am a part-time promoter.
I'm actually tearing up right now because I know.
Like I'm not about to sit down.
Oh my god!
Like I ain't sure a big fat yet, but I'm talking about somebody else is a part-time promoter. Like I'm not about to do all of that. So we're gonna save that for another, because you know what? Here's why we're gonna save that for another day. Because the offended party never said nothing. So I'm not gonna say nothing on his behalf.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, eat your food and hush your mouth.
No, it's hush your cunt.
Before men start to rally.
I'm seriously tearing up right now, bro. Like seriously.
So, yo, this is another episode of the Guys Unpack podcast.
Oh my goodness.
We had the homie Mo Fiyah in the building.
Say it.
Oh, he can't even say it.
Say the drop.
All right, y'all.
Yo, this is Dre.
This is Rich. This has been the homie Mo.
He would normally say, Mo Fiyah. That's
right.
Oh, yeah, it's me.
Make sure, you may have noticed the change of scenery tonight.
Yes.
We're inside of C-Spot Media Productions right now.
Their studio's crazy.
Shout out to Soundbang Entertainment. He out there enjoying life right now. Yo, big up yourself, homie.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
make sure you follow us on all social media at Guys Unpacked. Like and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. And you'll get all of our great content, the episodes that have already passed, and you'll get notified every time we got a new episode. Nice. So we will be back. We are every Monday night now. Not Wednesdays anymore.
It's an iterative process. We're growing. We're figuring out what we want to do.
Every Monday night, new episodes. So make sure you follow us. And fellas,
Dre.
I'm Mo.
And this is Rich. And we will catch y'all next week.
Unfiltered. Bro.
If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out all of our full episodes on YouTube at Guys Unpacked.
Also, we're available anywhere you get your podcast. And follow us on all social media at Guys Unpacked.